This morning, in my capacity as a minister with responsibility for education in particular, it gives me great pleasure in receiving these items on behalf of the government of St. Kitts and Nevis, and by extension on behalf of the various organizations, but ultimately the persons who will be benefiting from this generous donation. This, as pointed out by the ambassador, isn't the first time that Simply Help has come forward with making items available to the people of St. Kitts and Nevis. And for that, I think they deserve a round of applause, and indeed we are most grateful. As can be seen from the items on display, we have various items which will benefit the persons who will become the recipients. In life, sometimes because we do have things, we take it for granted that all other persons have the very same things and that they have the same appreciation for life as we do. The fact is that we have many vulnerable persons within our Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis, and I am certain that these items will go a very long way in bringing much needed relief to these persons. The ambassador himself spoke to the fact that our children in the early childhood development centers will become beneficiaries, and while the government makes every effort to assist these persons, there are still those whose parents cannot afford to give them the basic necessities. These, of course, are children who are most vulnerable, and some of these items will indeed go a long way, not only in relieving the financial burden on their own parents, but also in bringing comfort to the very same children. Some of them, of course, will also be donated to the hospital. And Mr. Hodges spoke to the fact that we have come here from the launch of a single mothers project. Many of the parents who gave birth here in the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis are single mothers who do not have the support of, be it the fathers of the children or other persons within society. Those persons, again, we consider them to be vulnerable, and they too will be thankful for these items. That stage of a child's life is one that we consider to be most critical, and a stage where a child needs just about all of the support that can be given to that child. It actually can make a difference in terms of that child surviving and where that child goes in life. While we concentrate to a large extent on the education aspect, the fact is that if we have children entering in our schools who come from homes which are disadvantaged, those children, they will be affected in terms of their own ability to learn, their ability to concentrate within the classrooms, even the ability to socialize with other children, because of the fact that they feel to some extent they are disadvantaged and they feel that they cannot fit in with others. And so whether it is providing them with education materials or providing them with clothing that they can use to wear to school, these items will make a difference, not just today in the lives of those children, but the impact that it will make in their future development is one which we really and truly cannot measure. And when you think about that little fact, of course, again, we must indeed say thanks on behalf of those persons who, in many instances, will not be able to thank the donors themselves. I should also add at this particular point in time that the children home, and I see my dear friend, my wife actually, for those of you who did not know that I'm married, Mrs. Mary Clark, and she is involved with the Disabled Society. And again, you're speaking about the next subsector of our population who is very vulnerable. Persons who for the most part cannot go out and seek employment, and so to a large extent they depend on the generosity of others for their own advancement, for their own day-to-day survival within society. These are persons who I know will also be grateful, whether it is for clothing or whether it is simply for some of the ornamental items that they can use in their own homes. Sometimes we go to the homes of persons and we wonder why it is that we are not invited inside. But in many instances, it is a matter that persons just don't feel comfortable because they feel that their home is not to the standard that they would want it to be, and so they don't want persons to come on the inside. These ornamental gifts, apart from helping them to decorate their own homes, psychologically, it also adds value to them because they now feel that they live in a home which is much more better decorated, and the psychological effect of that, I mean, can be a quite extensive one again that many of us, we sit here, but indeed we cannot imagine the effect of it. And so, Ambassador Chu, I would want for you once more to extend our gratitude to Simply Help for once more coming to the assistance of the more vulnerable persons here in St. Kitts and Nevis. Persons who as a society we may not be able to single-handedly help, but it is because of the fact that we have been able to forge relationships with Taiwan, for example, that we are able to expand our ability to help others. And indeed, Taiwan continues to do so. Very shortly, we are supposed to be purchasing some playfield items for our daycare centers, our early childhood development centers. And that is through the generosity of the Republic of China and Taiwan, which recently handed over a check to the Ministry of Education for approximately, I think it's $130,000 or so US dollars to assist us with equipping these playgrounds. So when you therefore look at it, you recognize that Taiwan has indeed been a most generous partner in assisting the people of St. Kitts and Nevis with our development, right from the cradle until, I don't necessarily want to say to the grave, but almost until the grave. Because if you assist someone from the cradle, you really and truly are impacting that individual until he or she dies. And so, Ambassador, again, we are most grateful. On behalf of all of the recipients, thank you.